Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I just kind of wanted to do a little more long-term update on the GODOX SL60W constant lights that I got. I did an unboxing for it, showed a little bit of the power, but now that I've got quite a few shoots under my belt with it, I'm using it all in studio here. We did our set for these Holiday Boudoir Minis, and I could use flash, but when I started picking these lights up and saw how well they worked indoors for my video work, I was going to be shooting basically at f1.4, and I wanted to get some bokeh in the shots, and I like shooting real wide open apertures for boudoir anyway, so I thought, what the hell, let's turn these on, let's push it to the limit and see what we can really do in real photo sessions, not just for video. So what I've been using here for this is I've got a 36-inch Octa. This is double diffused with a grid on it. I've got a 24-inch rectangular softbox here, which is also double diffused. There's no grid on this one. This big old 36-inch Octa, like I said, man, double diffused SL60W. Let's open this sucker up. It's the egg crate. There's one diffusion, and there's two diffusions inside. This big old 24-inch Octa here. This one is also double diffused. There's one diffusion, second diffusion here on the inside. And I've shot, I don't know how many, maybe 10 sessions at least with the lights in these boxes, and I've had zero problems with overheating. If the fan does kick on, I don't hear it at all while I'm in here shooting. You're able to dial the power from 10% all the way up to 100%. So even double diffused with the grid in this one, shooting 100% sometimes is too bright for me. Depending on the settings on my camera, I may have to turn this down. That way I can get that directional light from the grid here on my subject and still allow for some bokeh and to get some nice details here. Because if we just turn these big video lights on with these big soft boxes, back them up, blast out this whole area, you start to kind of lose the aesthetic of your Christmas lights. It kind of just destroys the mood of the scene. So what I love most about them so far is that no matter where I move the light, I get to see exactly how it's hitting my subject, and even more importantly, I get to see the shadow as it appears on my subject before I take the photo. I'm not sitting there, have to do a million test shots, turn the power of the light up, down, here, there, review the images, and then get the model to stand there even longer to do more and more and more. I can see it as I'm moving the light, and then one or two shots just to make sure everything's dialed in and we're ready to rock and roll. I can even set my camera to shoot continuously to where I can knock out 3 or 4 photos really quick, which helps eliminates taking a shot with your strobe, seeing maybe somebody was caught with a weird smirk on their face or caught them halfway between blinking or whatever. I can just reel off 3 or 4 photos with these constant lights and know I got one that's pretty much going to work for me. So the downside, of course, is I have to plug them in. The cord is maybe 10 feet long. I should have looked it up in the manual to tell you exactly how long, but I've got some pretty good range. I got one plugged in on each side of the wall here. So there's been a couple of times I've had to, either determine what softbox I want to put on, because if I try to drag this light all the way to the other side, I run out of room. I'd either have to unplug it and move it all the way over here and plug it back in, or depending on which way my subject's going to be facing, just plan ahead and make sure I have the softbox on which side of the room that I want. The lights themselves aren't very heavy. I believe they're lighter than my 8600, my wireless strobe that I have to take the battery with. And by them being plugged in, of course, I don't have to worry about battery power running out, but the downside is they're not as powerful as the strobe. But indoors here in the studio, shooting with this particular setup, and I'll do more tests going forward. I'll get some more models in here. We'll do different types of shoots to see how it works. But as in this case right here, I'm shooting f1.4, 1/60th of a second, and maybe ISO 800, 1000 at the most. And on my full frame camera, that's no problem with grain at all. But continuous shooting, we can knock out our mini sessions here. We've got tons of photos to choose from without having to stop and readjust our strobes over and over and over. All you got to do is go on the back, turn the dial if you need to raise it or lower it. I've even got a remote that I can control it from, which I haven't really had to use yet because my wife coming in here being the assistant, she stands by the lights, helps me move them, and anytime we need more or less power, she just dials it in as I watch, and we can lock it in really fast. So these two lights, I got them from Camera Exchange here in San Antonio. They cost about $140. They didn't come with a remote, and they didn't come with any soft boxes. but after numerous uses with them, I think that's a steal at that price. I should have been using these constant lights years ago. My plan is to maybe get some battery packs to see if I can take these out maybe at nighttime, or if I need to do some video work in somebody else's office where I don't have to carry a cord and worry about people tripping over. I'm going to look into that more and see what that takes. But having them here in studio for video and now photos with numerous sessions, I give 2 thumbs up to these lights. I recommend anybody in a similar situation like I am here, if you want something that's just going to turn on, it's just going to work. The fan's not going to be very loud if you want to shoot some video with it. If you've got babies that you want to shoot, or small children who you think the flash might irritate, this could be something that works for that too. But let's go ahead and start jumping into some of the photos and some of the videos I've done, just quick clips of our boudoir mini sessions, and you can see how this particular setup here in general worked out for me. So yeah, check out what we got. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. I appreciate everybody taking the time to watch these videos, and like, share, and subscribe to the channel.